The Senate Committee on Education has ranked Benue State among the highest scorers in educational development in the country. The chairman of the committee, Senator Uche Chukwumerije, who led other members on courtesy visit to the state deputy governor, made this known at the government house, Makudi. Achigli Magaji reports.
Senator Uche Chukwumerije explained that the committee's visit to Benue State is part of its oversight duties to federal educational institutions or federal government-funded educational projects across the country. He said the committee is not only concerned about infrastructural development, but also the quality of education and access by the Nigerian children of school age. Senator Uche, who advocated quality control mechanisms in the education sector to ensure standard, commended the Benue State government for being up to date in meeting its financial obligations for grants from support bodies and federal government agencies.
We are very happy again to say here that Benue State is proving a pace setter in this regard.
Chief Stephen Lawani expressed delight over the favorable rating of Benue State and stated that adequate attention will continue to be given to the education sector since it is the foundation of the development of any society.
In the north of this country, we have 3 universities and two other state degree awarding institutions. Am I correct? So we take education seriously here.
The oversight duties of the legislature is its constitutional responsibility to ensure effective implementation and performance of budgets. In Makudi, Achigli Magaji, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Senate Committee on Education has advocated more funding of vocational and technical education in the country in order to attain technological advancement. Chairman of the House Committee, Senator Uche Chukwumerije, said this during an oversight function to Federal Polytechnic and other institutions in Nasarawa State. Jamaila Abubakar completes the report.
The committee was in the school to assess the level of implementation of this year's budget, as well as identify other critical areas that needed attention. One of the areas of need is the technological infrastructure, which the committee said government must appropriate more funds to develop technology in the country. Chairman of the committee, Senator Uche Chukwumerije, noted that government must encourage polytechnics to carry out research and invention, now that the contemporary world emphasizes more on technology. Rector of the Polytechnic Nasarawa, Dr. Pius Salami, called on private organizations to support polytechnics by patronizing some of their machines and equipment invented by the school as a way of boosting their morale. The committee was also at the Federal University Lafia, where the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ekanem, said so far the institution has 11 departments and about 400 students. The committee members also inspected some projects being undertaken by the State Universal Basic Education Board, and the chairman, Abdul Karim Mohammed, disclosed that 36 Al-Makura model schools are being constructed across the state. In Lafia, Jamila Abubakar, NTA News.
Motorists and residents in Makudi, the Benue State capital, have re-emphasized the need for the resuscitation of existing traffic lights and installation of new ones as strategic points to ease flow of traffic in the metropolis. This is against the backdrop of the high volume of vehicular movement in the town, which results to traffic hold-ups on the roads. Correspondent has details. Makudi, the Benue State capital, has continued to witness steady increase in the volume of traffic in recent times as it has developed into a metropolitan city. This situation has led to frequent congestions at the roads, which at times contribute to some accidents leading to either loss of lives or serious injuries. It is to reduce this menace that some motorists and residents of Makudi have advocated refurbishing of the existing traffic lights along Federal Medical Center Junction, Benue Crescent Junction, and St. Teresa's Catholic Church Junction, high-level Makudi. They maintain that if the lights are resuscitated along with installation of new ones at strategic locations, it will complement the works of traffic wardens.
We'd be happy if government should do something about the traffic light in Makudi. If there's traffic light, at least if you go with the green, the red should stop you, the green you can move. At least if you watch that, you know it is very proper, there will be less accident.
But if it is a traffic light, you know it is authentic.
Commissioner for Science and Technology, Anthony Onu, said the state government is working assiduously to develop the state in all spheres, including the issue of traffic lights.
Excellency is ready and is prepared to take the state with highest in areas of science and technology.
It is the belief of the people that when these lights are fixed and new ones installed, they will not only ensure free flow of traffic in the town, but enhance its beauty. Well, that report runs off our package from Makudi. Ronke, it's back to you.
Charles in Makudi, we thank you. The Health and Labour Ministers have appealed to the Joint Health Sector Union not to embark on a proposed strike. The minister made the appeal at a fact-finding session by the House Committee on Health. Dende Falashe reports.
Presenting its list of grievances, the Joint Health Service Sector, through its chairperson, Ayuba Waba, identified them as non-implementation of the recommendations of the Presidential Committee on Harmony, stagnation of health professionals in the scheme of service, retirement age, as well as the exclusion of its members from the boards of tertiary health institutions. Responding, the Health Minister, Onyebuchi Chukwu, remarked that the recommendations of the Presidential Harmonization Committee is being studied by another committee yet to complete its task. The Labour Minister, Emeka Wogu, added that the grievances were receiving attention, hence no need for an industrial action. After hours of heated deliberations, all the parties agreed on the need for patience, bearing in mind the machinery of democratic governance.
What we have witnessed here is encouraging for democracy. In democracy, you must allow everybody to voice out themselves.
The meeting was adjourned with an assurance by the House Committee on Health that it will continue to work towards amicably resolving the grievances of the Joint Health Sector Union. Dende Falashe, NTA News.
Persons living with albinism in Nigeria are soon to be covered by the National Health Insurance Scheme. A committee has already been constituted for its realization. Health correspondent Rabi Abdullah covered the inauguration of the committee, which took place at the headquarters of the National Health Insurance Scheme in Abuja.
To say that living with albinism has a peculiarity when it comes to health needs is an understatement. Inaugurating the committee, Acting Executive Secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme, Dr. Abdurrahman Sambo, emphasized that the whole idea is about creating a medical treatment system that works for this vulnerable group of the society.
If you are going to provide health cover to albinos and you don't look at skin cancers, you are not doing anything. You don't look at eye condition, you are not doing anything. You don't look at psychological support for people living with albinism, you are not doing anything. So certainly we are looking at the benefit package that appears a little richer than the formal sector benefit package that NHIS is currently running.
The terms of reference of the committee include developing a concept note for a health insurance program as an advocacy tool, develop an operational guideline for the implementation of the program, as well as advise the NHIS management on potential sources of funding.
Nigeria is the first country to embark on a project like this. With what we're doing now, we're not just talking about the 6 designated hospital, but we're talking about every hospital from the local government will be mandated, and NHIS in this program will pay for such services.
Membership of the committee is drawn from NHIS, the Albino Foundation, the media, and the National Orientation Agency. In Abuja, Rabi Abdullah, NTA News.
Still on health, the Emir of Dutse, Alhaji Nuhu Muhammadu Sanusi, has pledged the support of his emirates to efforts at curbing the increasing cases of VVF in the country. The Emir gave the assurance when a team of medical doctors from Doctors Without Borders paid him courtesy call in his palace. Correspondent Aminu Umar reports.
The Emir said early marriage contributes to complications in labor, which leads to vesico and vitico-vaginal fistula among teenagers. He advised parents to consider it important to allow their female wards to attain the age of puberty before marriage.
We have a responsibility to our children, particularly those that are married too early in age, that they cannot possibly, their pelvic is not capable of delivering a child. And this is where most of the problems, if I understand you, come from.
The Emir also enjoined parents to enroll their children in schools in order to acquire the necessary education for religious and social development. Alhaji Nuhu Muhammad Sanusi expressed dismay with some parents who enslave their children by engaging them in street hawking, which he said demoralizes teenagers, particularly female wards. Alhaji Nuhu Muhammad Sanusi assured of Dutse Emirates' readiness to support Doctors Without Borders in order to curtail VVF cases amongst women. Earlier, the field coordinator, Dr. Angela Makato, had said that the center, which operates in Jahun, had recorded 25% increase of women attendance from last year to date.
We are working with women who have been affected by retrovaginal fistulas. They could be retrovaginal fistula, which is a passage of stool, and then the desmovaginal fistula, the passage of urine.
Dr. Makato said their target is to save women in the state who suffer vesico and vertico-vaginal fistula. From Dutse, Amin Umar, NTA News.
You're watching News Nationwide. More reports will come your way after these messages. Please stay.
In Pace School, character counts.
We're driven by excellence.
We dare to dream big.
Pace Schools Abuja, one of the best schools in the world. This is one of the most powerful countries, the United States of America, on a summer trip for 1 whole month.
During the trip, we will have academic classes. We'll visit fun places like the White House, Jefferson Memorial, Six Flags, Disney World, and make lifelong friends.
However, no child will be left behind. In our schools in Abuja, summer school holds in visitors Wuse and Guarimpa between July 22nd and August 16th. Registration is on now. For more inquiries, visit the school office.
Pace Setters Schools, setting the pace.
NTA presents to the world a dedicated television channel to broadcast activities of Nigeria's Senate, Federal House of Representatives, and all the 36 state houses of assembly. You can watch NTA Parliamentary Channel on NTA StarTime's DTT platform. NTA Parliamentary Channel. Join us.
I don't know what. I beg how much they sell this fish.
This one like this. Take out like this 1,000.
No person will survive for this kind. Everything just dey expensive. It could make person get money.
Okay, we must get money.
It could make the question be say now how person will get I know I will take any money. We go kidnap one rich man, come keep her somewhere.
No be so. No be the rich man we go kidnap. Now him wife. I am begin.
Oh, him male.
If you catch any of your relative, now the rich man go come bail her.
Look at it. You people that say you won't become kidnapper. You want to kidnap because of money? See, if government catch you like this, the rest of your life now inside the prison you will spend Stop it today.
A message from the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Jama'a ta da sallama barkamu da haka.
Ga labaranmu na duniya.
Ọha ndị ọma ndị amaala Naịjirịa.
Igbo ndị ọma na-ege ntị.
Onye isi oche ala anyị bụ Goodluck Jonathan.
Ìròyìn ló ń dé sí etí gbọ̀nyín láti iléeṣẹ́ NTA ìkànnì Oòduà.
Ẹ kú dédé wòyí o. Èyí ni ìròyìn láti iléeṣẹ́ amóhùnmáwòrán ìkànnì Oòduà.
NTA Language News, showing on NTA StarTimes platform, 10 p.m. Monday to Friday, 10:30 p.m. Wednesday.
We thank you for staying with us. Draftsmen of the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment from the 36 states in Abuja are putting together the first national draft policy on weighted measures for further input by stakeholders. Correspondent reports that there is the possibility that the step addresses the 755 billion naira loss monthly suffered by the federal government. A well-developed and planned application of legal metrology is key to exchange of goods and services and regulation of the production process. Hence, the Quarterly Assembly of Inspectors of Weights and Measures has a mandate to come up with a fresh framework for the establishment of an accurate, fair and legal standards in all areas of trade.
Our national policy must also seek to support a national legal metrology system that consistently promotes professionalism, technical competence, and strives to improve the quality of services we deliver.
Respondents were optimistic that the development will promote the actualization of the transformation agenda of the federal government.
It is anticipated that from the discussions of today, that we're going to come up with issues as it concerns the general public.
The government will be advised to put in place all the necessary things that you require to meet up with the present-day challenges.
In Abuja, Ronke. Governor Oduaghan commissions projects to mark democracy as Ekiti House of Assembly reinstates sacked workers. All this and more from our Benue Network Center as we join Agatha. Agatha.
Thank you, Ronke. Good evening and thanks for joining us in Benin. Delta State Governor Dr. Emmanuel Uduaghan has reaffirmed his determination to provide the dividends of democracy to the people of the state. He stated this as he commissioned some people-oriented projects in Asaba to mark Democracy Day. The report.
Governor Uduaghan commissioned school blocks and roads, with so many other projects also ready for commissioning. He said these projects and the Asaba International Airport are designed to uplift the economy and human capital status of the state.
We have tried to make Asaba a very befitting state capital in Nigeria, and it is the fastest growing state capital in Nigeria today.
The member representing Anyocha Ochimle Federal Constituency, Mr. Ndudi Elimelu, observed that Delta State government has commissioned projects which cut across all sectors of the state's economy.
All the institutions as it relates to ensuring that there's good governance are in place. For instance, look at this school. If you didn't come here, you would not even know that the governor is doing this.
In Asaba, Elo Agbra, NTA News.
The agricultural policy of the federal government has begun to yield positive dividends, as best performing companies at the Nigerian Stock Exchange are the agricultural companies in the country. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Akinwumi Adeshino, said this while delivering a lecture on unlocking Nigeria's agricultural potentials to create wealth. Doris Olumoko reports that the lecture was organized to mark the Foundation Day of the Federal University of Technology, Akure, Futa.
The minister condemned the situation where Nigeria is a heavy importer of food items, saying that the country has the potential of adequately feeding the nation and export food to other countries. To transform agriculture in Nigeria, Dr. Adewumi said the federal and state governments must work closely and pursue policies based on the principle of subsidiarity. He listed some of the feats achieved by the federal government in its agricultural revolution to include industrializing agriculture for millions of farmers, sales of seeds and fertilizers directly to farmers through the electronic wallet system, and turning cassava into gold for farmers. Others include release of new hybrids of cocoa to boost production and rice revolution, among others. To achieve more, the minister said Nigeria needs to seriously change its approach to irrigation, change the labor position of the sector, and retain students to become job creators and not hunters. The Vice Chancellor of FUTA, Professor Adebi Daramola, said the institution is championing the cause of agric revolution.
So we need to change our paradigm of agriculture as a development to agriculture as a business. And
the Foundation Day lecture is the 31st in the series. In Akure, Doris Olumoko, NTA News.
Ekiti State House of Assembly has exercised its judicial functions by passing a resolution reinstating some state civil servants who were sacked for alleged fraudulent acts. Ayodeji Okunchaki reports.
Following the petitions brought by the concerned civil servants before the House, the House Committee on Public Petitions swung into action to ensure that the principle of natural justice was entrenched. One of the victims, Mr. Owolabi Michael Omolayo, a produce officer in the Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources, was sacked in 2002 for alleged fraud. The committee chairman, Olowo Ajiboye, while presenting the report before the House, said thorough investigation carried out on the petition showed that the victim was dismissed illegally. The House consequently resolved that Mr. Owolabi Michael Omolayo should be reabsorbed to continue his career and salary arrears be paid up to date. Also, the report on petition in respect of some dismissed secondary school bursars in the State Teaching Service Commission in 2008 was also considered. The committee, after its findings, recommended that the majority explained that the resolutions will be sent to the executive for appropriate action. In Ado-Ekiti, Ayodeji Okunchaki, NTA News.
And that's our package. News Nationwide continues with Ronke in Abuja. Good evening.
Thank you, Agatha. Ahead of the second Global Power Women Network Africa meeting in Nigeria, issues of violence against women, HIV pandemic, and achieving MDG goals are to be addressed. The Minister of State 1, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Professor Viola Onwoliri, who stated this, said the ministry is mobilizing the diplomatic community to raise powerful delegations from 54 African countries to attend the meeting. Correspondent Chimdima Onduboise filed in the report.
The Global Power Women Network Africa is a movement, a new movement of African women in decision-making positions. These decision-making women will now help to use also their positions to help their governments to actualize their affirmative action.
The upcoming meeting in June will review and identify strategies, policies, and effective practices for accelerating the implementation of global and regional commitments for women and girl gender equality and HIV/AIDS in Africa.
It's important that every country participates. We also had circulated a list of close to 30 declarations, commitments, treaties that have been signed, global and regional agenda. So we are going to look at how we've fared in trying to achieve the contents and the promises involved or in those documents.
During the meeting, Professor Viola Onwoliri, Minister of State 1 Foreign Affairs, will take over the presidency of the Global Power Africa with UNAID, African Union, ECOWAS, and the African First Ladies Peace Mission as collaborators.
The governor of Benue State, Issa Yuguda, has called on the Chinese government to establish a Chinese language department at the newly established university in Benue State. The governor said this when he visited the Chinese embassy in Abuja. Correspondent Gabriel Odu reports.
China and Nigeria have excellent relationship based on partnership